as part of this, we were going to competitively pitch ideas to Matt, because Matt's not in the film world. We watch quite a lot more than he does. We've also, however, learnt through conversation that we could also pitch to Lydia, because apparently she doesn't seem hardly anything at all.
Ever.
Probably like major film. For me, it's more along the lines of like huge films that you should have seen.
Lydia has not watched The Godfather.
I know. I've never had a copy.
You've never had a copy?
I've never had a hold of a copy to watch it.
You've lived with me since January. I have every single Godfather.
Okay, so let's fix this then.
Let's fix it.
Well, if you fancy watching one of these things we're about to pitch, then
Yeah.
you can, and give us your thoughts on them as well. So we're going to pitch an idea. We're each going to pitch an idea. Matt's going to pick one that he wants to watch, and he's going to give us a report on it the next time we record.
Yeah.
I feel very much like a kind of an everyman person. People who don't know a lot about films.
Yeah.
You know, there's that old kind of trope of the guy, kind of weedy guy on a beach, and a bully kicks sand in his eyes, and then he writes off this correspondence course and gets the kind of really big muscles. This is very much me, because Christian kicks sand in my eyes about me not knowing films all the time. So this will build week by week. I'll kind of.
We're giving you a movication.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know how someone gets back
Sounds
from
painful.
a correspondence course.
It was called the guy was called Charles Atlas, and it was kind of turn of the century. He was kind of a bodybuilder, and he said he used these exercises to basically make yourself really, really strong, and that was where that advert came from.
Well, Jay, I'm going to call on you first to pitch a film to Matt. Or pitch a film. It's film or TV series or web series or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we've gone with a theme, a slight theme, because we're talking about bad movies, of kind of guilty pleasures, or perhaps films we like that maybe weren't quite so well received, or something along those lines. So what are you?
Okay, I'm totally unprepared for this because my original thing was Punisher from 2004, but apparently you've seen that.
Yeah, I have actually seen that film.
So I'm going to go with Mallrats. I believe that was 93 or 94 as well. That might need to check. Anyway,
Okay, he's looking at that. It's
That
Kevin
is-
Smith's
it is
second
quite
film.
Yeah, I was going to say that is
Yeah.
a Kevin Smith film, isn't it?
it's a Kevin Smith film. It's probably his least popular, but it's actually my favourite because it was the first
Oh,
Kevin
really?
Smith. Yeah, it was the first Kevin Smith film.
1995.
1905. It was the first Kevin Smith film I saw, and it struck me because it seems like a film that's way ahead of its time.
Right.
In that it focuses on a generation of people with little direction in life, and their basic premise is to hang out at the mall all day, and it just so happens on this particular day that they get into all sorts of hijinks,
Right. Yeah.
adventures. And the reason it stuck out to me because it seemed like like Clerks, but unlike his later ones, it seemed very focused on people that I appealed to, like people who just hung out at malls, didn't really have much ambition, were obsessed with comics, and I'm totally not prepared for this.
That's fine.
Yeah. No, it sounds like they're.
I
like,
prepared
it's-
all
it's-
night for Punisher.
Well, the
it's very
way.
much-
Yeah.
Oh, we can pitch later.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're kind of it's kind of a character study rather than a plot.
Yeah.
And the characters are the kind of what would have become the geeks, but before that whole
Yeah,
thing happens.
it was geeks before geeks were really a thing.
Yeah.
And to show how ahead of its time it was the first film before any MCU film did it to have a Stan Lee cameo.
Oh right. Okay.
Oh, it
way
does, doesn't
before-
it? Yeah.
It does. And yeah, it's just a run-of-the-mill comedy set in a mall. And where Clerks aimed to be a bit more real life, this was Kevin Smith going a bit more broad with his comedy while being central to the characters.
Well, I'm quite a big Kevin Smith fan, and
Yeah.
the way he described this, as he had to work it around the studio, is it's essentially his to Clerks. It's what to the studio he described it as sort of what Aliens was to Alien. Basically, he wanted to do Clerks, but a bigger budget,
Bigger budget.
Oh, right,
bigger,
okay.
more
Ensemble
Clerks
piece.
essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so more of an ensemble club.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
And it's also the first film that introduces Jason Lee, who since then I've thought is one of the most hilarious actors, and his character in Mallrats is still one of my all-time favourite.
Okay, so he's the J of Jay and Silent Bob. Or was
No,
that-
Jason.
No,
Jay
that's
and
Jason
Silent
Jason
Bob
is.
are actually in this
Oh, right,
as well.
okay.
So Jason Lee and then Jason.
Jason-
So who's
Yeah.
Jason Lee then?
Jason.
Jason Lee was actually another friend. He wasn't an actor before this. I believe he was trying to be a skateboarder, like a professional skateboarder by this time.
Yes,
But
that's right. Isn't
He was
it?
hired to be on this film, and he just has a natural way with comedy
Right,
and acting.
okay.
And I don't know, I just stumbled across this film, and where other people were all like Clerks and Chasing Amy, there's just something about this film and the comedy of it that really stood out to me.
It
Have
seems
you
to me that Kevin Smith likes to put people in his films who are interesting people he knows, rather than people
Yes.
who are
Yeah.
specifically trained
Yeah.
actors.
Have you
Yeah.
seen My Name Is Earl?
I don't think I
He's the
have.
lead in that.
Right, yeah, but I know what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
him when he was
he's
younger.
going around and he is trying to make amends for
Yeah, all
all
the
the bad
terrible
things
things
that he's
he's
done.
done.
Like
It's a really good show.
karma.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh yeah, he's
He's also in Alvin.
he's
all-
the
Okay.
human
Good
in the Alvin and Chipmunks
references for
movies.
his career now, but back then,
Yeah.
This is one of Ben Affleck's early films as well, I believe, more
Yes.
right?
yeah, Ben Affleck's
Yeah.
in it as well. Tiny
Because he was friends with Kevin.
Kevin
Yeah.
Smith. Yeah, it features a lot of his usual. Like Jay and Silent Bob do feature more
Yeah.
heavily in this than they
Yeah.
do in Clerks.
So yeah, okay, yeah, no, that does sound quite
Yeah.
interesting.
And basically, the simple premise is two guys get dumped by their girlfriends at the beginning of the film, and it's basically their day trying to get over their girlfriends before deciding that they're going to get their girlfriends back.
Right, okay.
And it's a whole epic adventure, taking in the security guard from the thing and store owners and. God, I really don't know how to describe it without spoiling it.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
almost plot-wise like a
It's
an
very
episode
random.
of a sitcom.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
in a
much an
sense.
extended sitcom.
In
but
that
with-
you're just trying to get back to that original.
It's a lot sillier.
status quo.
Yeah, I'd say it's a
Yeah.
lot sillier than Clerks.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is sillier than
It's a lot
Clerks.
more frivolous and it's a lot kind of
But at the same time, it
doesn't have the
very,
waxing philosophical.
Like,
that
especially
Clerks
Yeah.
these
has.
days, the characters seemed like ahead of their time. But these days, the characters you'd see are good reflections. of
Yeah.
society. Like even today, I would pretty much say the main character dresses a lot like you
Right.
are right now. It's very.
Don't know how to take that. I'm gonna have to
No,
watch
it's
the film to see.
It was the first film where I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's actually films with my kind
With people
of
like me,
people."
yeah.
like
Okay.
reflections of me, like literally just hanging around at comic shops talking
Kind of
about
wasting their
comics.
time
Yeah,
and-
wasting
yeah.
their times. No set agendas. Just there are people who don't really know what they're going to do
Yeah.
with their lives, and just
It got panned. It got
It got
really
panned.
bad. It didn't do very well.
Yeah.
and even Kevin Smith considers it his worst film, and he mocks it in all of his other films. But I don't know. I saw
like
it. It was the
him.
first thing I saw of his, and then I saw the others, and I liked them. But it's always stuck with me that there was something about this one.
Right. Okay.
The introduction to his humour and yeah, just how far ahead of its time it was really good.
Okay.
So yeah,
You
that's
seen
my
that, Lydia?
terrible unprepared pitch.
Lydia hasn't seen that either.
No,
That's
well,
a pretty
we'll
good
watch it
pitch.
together.
There we
Maybe.
go.
My Punisher pitch would have been amazing.
Let's watch it now. I've got it on DVD.
Well, here's the question. Lydia, have you seen The Punisher?
No. I also,
Literally have done all
just
of
call
these
just call me the
pictures to Lydia.
fixer. We've got a problem. I'll
One
Maybe have a
week
Punisher
pitch to
pitch if we
Matt,
have.
1 week pitch to Lydia.
I've
Good
seen
work.
a lot of kind of obscure films.
She's seen a lot of zombie films.
And a lot of, yeah. What?
Zombie films.
I have seen a lot of zombie films. I have a lot of zombie films.
Do I want to go next? Do I want to go next?
I feel like
Yeah.
you do.
Yes.
Okay. I'm pitching this to you, but I'm worried that if you pick it, your opinion of me will be drastically lowered.
It's already pretty low.
Oh.
that sentence has called you into question.
Well, it's bad, but I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. It's a TV series, and it was one of the first-ish, I guess, live action.
Yeah.
Can you look up when Birds of Prey? It's Birds of Prey,
Yeah.
the live action TV series,
Okay.
and it's about
Like 2001, I think.
yeah
2002 it says.
that must be fairly. I can't think of any
You're always
other.
1 year out with these
I know,
films.
right?
But it's super. It's Batman's daughter, Huntress,
Hmm.
Barbara Gordon's Oracle,
Oracle, right? Okay.
and who's the third one? The
Dina
blonde-
Lance?
Dina Lance. I don't know if she's from the comics, is she? Oh, well, she must
Oh,
be.
she's
I
the
assume.
original Black Canary.
Okay,
Dinah
but she's the
Lance.
daughter
Well,
of Black
yeah.
Canary.
Sister as
In
well.
this, she's the daughter of Black Canary. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. And it's TV show. It got cancelled halfway through, for good reason. It's not good. It's ridiculously camp and silly, and the tone changes from episode to episode. Characters' motivations never quite match up.
Right.
Some of the
yeah.
episodes just don't work at all. But I really enjoy it, and I don't know why. It has the most bizarre version of Harley Quinn as the villain.
Right.
So Harley Quinn is the main villain, but it's Harley Quinn as if she was a Bond villain. So she's really clever and really calculated, and she's got this whole gang of followers
Yeah.
behind her, and she's like super organized. She's just a Bond villain and not Harley Quinn at all. And it's not clear. The other and it's weird because it's set essentially it's a sequel to the Batman universe. Batman has retired,
Okay.
and now his daughter Huntress is
Yeah.
trying to do her thing in Gotham. and it's very meta. It's very about metahumans, focused very
Yeah.
much on metahumans before that was a thing. Maybe the thing with the Flash. So there's a lot of, when it came out, terminology and stuff that if you weren't into comics, you basically had no idea what was going on, and which is probably why it failed. To be honest, it was very much in the comic world before the comic world was a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's before Iron Man or anything came out, isn't it? Iron Man came out in what? 2004 or
2001.
something, yeah.
I was still in school.
Yeah.
That
this
was the
before
year. That was the year that
everything.
my final year at, of A level.
So yeah, so it would have been quite alienating to an audience other than people that were
Yeah.
already predisposed to like it. I guess it might work
Yeah.
better now. Might have worked better if it came out today.
Mark Hamilton is the Joker.
He does. Mark Hamill does.
Really?
It actually appeals. He just
Mark
the
Hamill
voice.
is
It actually
everywhere.
has 2 actors credited, Mark Hamill and Roger Stoneburner, both as
I feel like
Joker.
he's does just voices though. I don't
Yeah,
think
just
he
his 2
actually
episodes.
appears in it.
Well, so you know what? That's kind of piqued my interest because Mark Hamill's Joker is hands down the best
best.
version of
Yeah.
the Joker. I mean, yeah, I know we're talking about Heath Ledger and things like that, but Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh, his laugh is just
It's
so iconic. Like,
amazing.
because
Oh,
there's so
yeah.
many different versions of it, like, and it's still
Depending on
always
what mood he's
Joker. Like,
Also, Aaron Paul is in it.
Really?
From Breaking Bad. Yeah, it says here, Aaron Paul played Jerry for 2 episodes.
The thing is,
Two
the way you
episodes?
the way
Who
you've
the hell
described
is
it
that?
so far,
I
I'm
remember that.
sort of imagining it as in the same kind of universe as the Batman and Robin.
I'm trying. Yeah, you
Or-
could
or
go
the
that
kind of,
way.
60s TV Batman.
Well, they knew they were being cancelled in advance. So, like I say, it's had a
Yeah.
niche audience. It obviously didn't do very well, but they knew they were being cancelled in advance. So they did finish the series. They did wrap up the big Harley Quinn plot, but they really cram it into the final 2 episodes because they
Yeah.
obviously didn't have much time to figure it out. So the end, the finale is pretty very rushed and nonsensical,
Yeah.
and but it
I
does.
I kind of
ultimately
like
work.
the idea of the sort of the female leads being both the villains and the heroes as well.
It is, yeah, it
actually.
is very
I do-
very
I do
girl
like
power
that.
centric.
It was one of the when they
Centric.
announced the Harley Quinn movie that Margot Robbie was going to produce and so on.
Yeah.
There was all this kind of speculation. Okay, who's going to be the villain? What's going to be the plot? And there were some people saying, well, why not have instead of Harley Quinn versus Batman or something like that? Why not have it against Batgirl or Oracle? And things like that. You could bring in more characters like that because I do quite like the Batgirl Oracle character, not in the cartoon version of the Killing Joke, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's not good. But she is quite a good. It's quite a good arc to go through in that she is she starts off as being the kind of the physical kick-ass kind of character, but then she gets paralyzed and turns into a much more analytical, cerebral kind of crime fighter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
that's
say here that she's paralysed. That was a good question.
She is, yeah. When
Yeah,
that's why
I
she
didn't know.
becomes Oracle.
yeah.
And
It's
so
basically
she
can't
sits in
be-
there in the clock tower instructing Huntress and
Yeah.
Dinah. And,
Right, okay.
She's kind of their
advising.
voice with the internet connection, essentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
yeah, I
nice.
think maybe it might have been better received today in a more
Yeah.
comic book centric
Yeah.
environment. But no, it's got a lot of Batman mythos in it. It's got Clayface in it, one of the villains, as a regular appearance. I seem to recall. I haven't seen it for a little while, but I have seen it a few times. The whole 12-episode run or whatever it was.
It's got 14 episodes, yeah?
14-episode run, yeah. Even better than 12.
That could work. Who's next?
Have you seen that, Lydia, by the way? Before we move on, have you seen?
Your one.
I assume you haven't. No,
Yeah.
I assume I'm the only person in the world who'd probably watched this show more than once.
Shall I go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm pitching to you something that is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I'm going to pitch 2012.
You've told us how much you love and watch this film.
Yeah, I've got my reasons for it. Okay, so
2009.
2009, not 2012. Because it was made. It's directed by Roland Emmerich. He actually also wrote, directed, and produced The Day After Tomorrow and Independence Day.
And Stargate.
Yeah, and Stargate and Godzilla.
Yeah.
So he's done like loads of stuff.
You might have left that one out actually if you're trying to convince me to see.
Yeah. This is not the newest
Yeah, to be
Godzilla,
honest
the
with you,
one
I would
before.
forget that one.
Yeah.
The
I
Matthew
would go more
Broderick
for like
Godzilla.
along lines of like Independence Day.
Yeah. Independence Day, like Stargate, I liked actually as well.
Yeah.
So.
It's got John Cusack is the lead in it, and then some of the other people that are in it quite a lot is Stanley Newton and Chiwetel Ejiofor. I hope I pronounced that right.
I do love Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
brilliant. Basically, it's a typical like disaster movie. It follows kind of the same formula as they all do, and to be honest, it's not really the story why I think you should watch the film.
Yeah.
Like the story follows its own kind of like, oh my god, there's a disaster, people trying to survive it, and fighting their way through these things, and it doesn't massively do anything new, but it does have some like good kind of like strong moral things in it, and it does do a few like kind of interesting things. Like with John Cusack's character is quite quirky, and it's also got Woody Harrelson in it doing some very, very
Woody
funny.
Harrelson is very strange in that film.
He's
like,
extremely
more
strange
than
in
he
that
normally is.
Yeah, like
Woody
have
Harrelson.
you seen Red?
I haven't, but I have seen A Scanner Darkly. Is he in that as well?
Yeah.
I
What?
when you say
Scanner Darkly.
Woody Harrelson, I think he's a kind of slightly surfer dude in that.
Oh no, in this he's completely off his rocker,
Yeah.
and
Woody
it's
Harrelson
absolutely
is-
brilliant.
Yeah, but it is that person that I've got the right
Yeah,
actor.
yeah,
Yeah, he's absolutely off his rocker in this film, and it's brilliant. Like
Yeah.
he is so funny. And just the way everyone else is kind of just giving him these kind of like, really, what are you talking about looks. Even though his character is kind of the one that has it all right. But really, what I love about this film is like there are so many films these days that you watch and stuff, and you're like, oh, it would be great if it hadn't used CGI. And like, I'm not the biggest fan of CGI in a lot of things. I think if you can do it practically, do it. But this film is an absolute masterpiece of CGI. Like the way that it's a complete spectacle. Like if you go back to like the older, like if you think back into like the old theatre melodrama and stuff where people show just for the show, like think Lion King or West End, you go because it's like wow, and like that's what this film does. Like some of the shots that they have in this film are so well done that you literally feel like you could be looking at it as if it was genuinely real. But it's like they're so kind of like they hit you so hard that you kind of like can't help but getting a little bit like, oh god, like it's just like the world is literally falling apart, and the CGI is phenomenal. And this is a film for me is a perfect example of what you should do with CGI.
Yeah.
They're visual-centric films, disaster movies, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, like you see other ones where
Can
they're
I ask
so
a
well.
question of this?
No, go on.
No, go
I just wanted to clarify, Woody Harrelson was not in Red.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
John Malkovich, I think.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, that's John Malkovich,
John
isn't it?
Malkovich. Yeah.
Just
I'm thinking something different.
And also, when you said CGI and you prefer practical, I thought you were going to say for a second that they actually practically broke the world
Oh my
in
God, yeah.
2012.
No, I mean,
I was about
Woody
to be
Harrelson's
impressed.
not in Red, but the character that John Malkovich plays in there is along the same vein.
Yeah,
as
very
the kind
crazy,
of quirky,
like,
crazy
yeah.
character in here. He's
Can I
not quite so.
Can I
like
ask a question
murderous.
about this film? Because I think I've heard about this one. Does it include the line, "The neutrinos have mutated"?
Yes, that's that
Yes, I
film.
think it does.
That's
Because
the
there
film.
is a
Dara O'Brien,
Dara
isn't it?
O'Brien sketch that I've seen,
Yes.
and because Dara O'Brien is a physicist as well, and it kind of it's the physics of it is kind of torn apart by him. So
Yeah, no,
it-
physics wise, nah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's done based on the whole like the end of the world is going to happen in 2012 because of like Earth crust displacement and stuff. But really, like that, it's not the story or the facts. Or
it's not the science that.
It's not the story, the facts, or science you watch this film for. It's like you have some interesting character relationships in this film, which are quite good, and you've got some really kind of funky, like quirky characters that do pop up. My favourites being like the Russian guy and the Russian pilot, who's just brilliant.
Is he like the Russian guy from Armageddon?
No,
No,
You know, the
it's
guy
not.
who's up in Mir or whatever.
no, they just have some really like everything's falling apart, and they've just got some really funny moments in there that generally just kind of make you laugh, even though everything's falling apart. But
And some really tragic moments.
And
in it. I
yeah, they
remember
do.
we watched it together at one point, and I was in tears at one point, and I can't remember even what it is. I think again I blocked it out.
yeah.
But yeah, some bits will really
It
get
does
to you,
quite
even though it's
get
quite
you, because it
ridiculous.
is again it is such a kind of big spectacle, and like some of these like bits where the world is like falling apart and stuff. I'm literally watching it. I'm literally getting like, oh my god, like, this is really horrible, and because it's done so well. Like, cause it's like, especially if you watch it on a big screen,
Yeah.
because it's done so well, you're literally like, everything is falling apart. How they no way they're gonna get out of this, and they, like, kind of, you do kind of think at any point these characters could just go. So like, even though they are the main characters, like there is the way the film makes you feel, there is no guarantee that they're gonna live.
Okay, yeah, so they don't have the kind of plot armor.
No, but it's not
So
like
there's
you
a
have
genuine
in,
amount
like,
of threat to the.
Yeah, it's not like when you have Independence Day, you've got Will Smith, and you're like, of course he's gonna live.
Yes.
In this one, they could all die. Like each one,
Yeah.
like anyone could be next. Like
Yeah.
because it's so dramatic. But yeah, that's my pitch. This film
Okay.
is
Yeah.
how CGI should be used.
It is, however, a disaster movie, and I'd rather watch a real movie. I don't like
I
disaster movies.
like disaster.
I do not like disaster
Oh, I
movies.
love
Like
my disaster.
San Andreas, I saw for you guys, and it was a stunning looking movie, but
Yeah, I
it's
haven't
still a
seen that
stupid
one.
movie.
I
Yeah.
refuse to
The thing
see
is, I
that
like my
movie.
disaster movies, and another guilty pleasure of mine is The Day After Tomorrow. Jamie wrote.
No, that's a terrible film.
But yeah, I will admit that there are a
Is
lot
that-
of plot holes in that. There's a lot of continuity errors in that one as well that annoys me. And
Is that the one where Cold chases them down a corridor?
yeah.
Yes.
And then they shut a door on it and they're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. After the cold
That's the
reaches them before it reaches the people that it should reach first. Or
Yeah,
Plus,
something.
isn't
it
that
does
the-
it, and it all happens in the wrong time.
Doesn't it
rather.
also, like, as soon as there's snow anywhere, like, walls turn up?
Yep.
Yeah.
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 No, they weren't there before because
Yeah.
there's snow. Walls.
Yeah.
Snow
No,
wolves.
that one being another one of my guilty pleasure disaster movies. I like to watch that one just because I don't need to think. It just entertains me.
Filmmakers thought the same thing,
Yeah, but for
Got a good rate. No, it hasn't. It's got a bad rating.
I think.
yeah, I like
5.8 on
12 in terms
IMDb.
of plot.
Yeah.
It's nothing new,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be like this is groundbreaking. But the way that when you watch it, it's a spectacle to watch. And
Yeah.
like for me,
I
it's
think-
the CGI and the way they'd use it.
It
What-
sounds
watch-
like what it will hinge on is whether the kind of visual stunningness of it is able to overcome my natural go. That is not how science works.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
I
it will.
don't.
Yeah.
Because for this one, like, so half the, like, I didn't even clock half the science till the same time. I mean, at the beginning, they do a lot
Yeah, I
of
know, but
sciencey
the thing
things,
is,
and you're just
oh.
like, forget about that. Wait till the world starts
Yeah,
falling
but
apart, and then
we
you're
don't
like,
know as much about science.
Watch the last 30 minutes of
He's gonna
Godzilla
pick it up.
instead.
Yeah.
That's
Not
the
as
one
much
thing
as-
I will add about Mallrats, though. The science of Mallrats does add up.
Excellent. All right. Okay.
It's
Someday.
perfect.
The science of my
Their
film
use
adds
of
up as
gravity
well.
is
Weirdly, the
amazing.
science in my stupid Birds of Prey probably makes more sense than 2012.
because I know what your film is, Caleb, that's funny.
Right. Okay.
Jason film.
Oh, we're doing me.
Yeah. Well,
No, not
My
literally.
pitch is going to be short and sweet because I don't really have much to say, but I do love this film. I would like to start, bearing in mind how many of us at the table, there's 6 of us at the table, considering the jobs most of us do, I'm assuming an awful lot of us have been waiters at some point in our lives.
Yes.
No.
No?
I've been a
Jane
chef.
has. No, you
Yeah.
haven't. You
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
Okay, so even if you haven't, this kind of works. So it's a 2005 film called Waiting, with Ryan Reynolds in it before he was Deadpool. Sad times. And normally I hate. It's got Anna Faris in it as well. And normally I cannot stand films with Anna Faris in it. But this one, if you ever wonder what goes on behind the scenes in like a generic kind of chain restaurant,
Right. Yeah.
this is absolutely gold. And I cannot tell you how weirdly accurate it is. It will scare you away from actually going into any chain restaurants. Like
Yeah.
anything like Wetherspoons, it will absolutely terrify you
I
from
could
walking
actually
into.
confirm.
But it's hilarious and disturbingly accurate. There
Yeah.
is one girl in it, and I can't remember what the actress's name in it, but she plays a very, very angry waitress that has obviously been working there for far too long. And she's got a fantastic habit of, there's like the behind the scenes part of the restaurant. She's walking from there to in front of where all of the customers are. And as she's walking up these stairs, she is swearing and going the angriest person you can possibly meet. As soon as she gets to the top of the stairs in front of any customer, her entire face
Oh, right,
switches.
yeah.
Massive smile. Hello guys, how are we doing today?
Just like tour guide Barbie.
yeah.
I love her.
It really is. So if you've ever been a waiter, it is it's hilarious to watch because it is very, very accurate. And even if you haven't, and as I say, if you just wonder a little bit about what it's like behind the scenes, and it goes through every kind of aspect of it as well. So it's the people working behind the bar, the hostess, the chefs. The chefs are hilarious. It's got, is it Louis Guzman? I want to say Guzman.
Louis Guzman, yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant in it, and
So
he's
Harry
one of those
Potter.
ones that you'll kind of recognize his face if you see him, probably
Right,
more
yeah,
than his
okay.
name. He often plays quite kind of the side funny characters.
So name kind of.
Yeah, rings a bell. He's got a very distinctive
Yeah.
face, and he's hilarious in it as well. It's just got an awful lot of very, very funny characters, and as I say, I don't normally like that sort of comedy, but that particular film I find hilarious.
Okay.
I've never heard of it. I
Justin
can't
Long
comment.
as well, yeah.
Oh, I like him.
That's a long
He's
film.
good.
Kaylee, did you have a pitch?
I have changed my film. So Matt, you liked Ant-Man, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So from the same director,
I like how
as
you're going with
Ant-Man,
this.
the same director as Ant-Man, comes a film a brilliant, amazing, funny film with cheerleaders
Okay.
called Bring It On.
You do own this film.
Which
I love this
I think
film.
I've heard this.
It's
one.
amazing.
I love so much. Okay, so Kirsten Dunst plays a cheerleader who called Torrance Shipman.
Because who isn't called Torrance?
Who, so she is
He's
given
not
the
going to pick
title.
this.
She's given the title of like the cheer captain
Right. Okay.
because the old one is retiring. And
Retiring.
She's going to
leaving.
college.
Right. Okay.
So it's enforced, really.
And it's about the sort of struggle between.
Please tell me she breaks her leg with just 2 days to retire.
Somebody does
She
break
gets
their
shot.
leg in the film.
Yes,
Home.
true.
You gotta make sure you get the right film though, because there's like 5 of them.
Yeah,
So it's
obviously the
mainly
original.
the fact that Kirsten Dunst becomes the leader of this like cheerleading squad, and then through her sort of time being in charge of this cheerleading squad, realizes that there's another cheerleading squad of black cheerleaders from another school, and they have been taking all of their like routines. Drops the mic. And in the midst of all of this drama, it's just it's such a
And then it breaks out into a race war.
I was going
It
to
gets
say
super
the black
political.
people are taking our job.
It's
But
really
Eliza
dark.
Dushku-
comedy
Yeah.
there. It's
Eliza
pretty.
Dushku comes in, she's like the new girl at the school, and she's like, I hate cheerleaders.
She's
but
Faith
then
in
she
Buffy.
decides to be.
He hasn't
No.
seen
He hasn't
Buffy,
watched
has
Buffy.
You might
Pay
know
attention, Lydia.
Did she?
You might know who still.
That name sounds familiar. Did she?
I'm going to show you a picture of Eliza Dushku because in the novel she has.
You
She
should
was
know
in
who
loads
she
of
is.
stuff.
I
Oh,
have a
how-
feeling. Yeah, I do recognise it. Did she was something like a Grim Reaper or something? Not a Grim Reaper, but she was a kind of like
She could.
Oh,
She had a
she
TV
talked
series.
about
which
collect
was
True
called
yeah,
Calling or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
True
where she kind
Calling,
of collected the souls of the dead or something like
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
also
yeah.
like a I don't know, a
What, the
coroner
Move
or
On or
something
She
like
was
Yeah,
in
it was
Big
like
Bang Theory as well.
Pushing Daisy style,
Yeah.
solving murders. Yeah.
So I absolutely love this film because one, it's directed by the same guy who directed Ant-Man, which is cool. Two, it's got great music.
random,
it's
yeah.
really, really fun. And there's this whole section with a guy that comes in to teach them new cheers.
Oh my god.
Who's just the best character ever, and he has them doing the most ridiculous routine ever with
Is-
just jazz hands. And
Isn't
Okay.
that also where we
Well,
learn the
let's
difference
see-
between jazz hands and spirit fingers? Because
Jazz
they are
hands
very
and
different.
Spirit fingers. Spirit fingers.
Okay. Does it include lines like "If you can cheer while the wrench is thrown"?
It does have some really, really good.
I mean,
funny
it's that.
cheers
It's
in
that.
it.
It's that style of film that Dodgeball is parodying.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And
So,
it's.
I
but
prefer the
think
parody.
It's one of,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those films that is cheesy as hell, but knows it's cheesy.
It does kind of take the piss out of itself a little
Yeah.
bit.
It does,
Mm.
and I think it's just it's just one of those films that's just really fun to watch, and it has cheerleaders in it. So.
Yeah.
Girls in short skirts, Matt. Doing flips.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to say that bit.
Damn it.
I think I remember seeing the trails for that when it came out and thinking, my god, this looks like an awful film.
And you just have to watch it
It's so deeply
because
entertaining.
it's so.
Look, all the girls on this table, like, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, that sounds like it's something that I would never normally watch, which does kind of mean maybe I should give it a try.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
But on the other hand, I don't want to.
I just thought.
But on the other hand, I could kill myself.
Because
instead.
it is a guilty
actually, yeah,
pleasure.
you know what
It's it.
you know what, Mel, which just reminded me of that bit in Deadpool where he goes, you know, I'd come with you, but I don't want to.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was my pitch. Bring it on.
Hmm.
And there we are. Bring It On is the name of that, and it is also your challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring on the criticism.
You've heard us all.
Yeah.
It's weird because the I'm kind of in descending order this way.
It is slowly getting worse as it goes around, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is
Well, you
supposed
know
to
what?
be a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like, I never said that. I wouldn't pick a good film.
Yeah,
as
oh,
a
yeah,
guilty
you're not
pleasure.
saying-
Yeah.
You're not saying this is an absolute classic
It's a
film.
You are
It's
also
not
in
bad.
the middle. You're not at like the
I know,
lower end of the
I know,
scale.
but I want my.
I-
page
Actually,
to
no,
be
actually,
seen.
Mel and Lydia, I kind of put yours in quite similar. They do that, and I'm quite interested. But I do like Mallrats, and the Birds of Prey one actually as well sounds quite good to me. I might have to be one of those. Do I have to make a decision now?
If you can,
Okay.
Wait, and
because I can give you either of them before you leave
Yeah.
today.
yeah.
I think I might watch Mallrats actually.
Chase that, yes.
Right.
Oh, does he win a prize for that competition? Is there?
Prize.
Yeah, have
I
a
hope
Haribo.
We're gonna keep a tally of
I chucked a Haribo.
Did you
Okay.
take
Right.
pity on
What
my
happens if
awkward
you lose?
pitch?
I think it was a good pick.
I don't, it's a film I've heard of before and never kind of thought to look. But no, I did quite like the idea of it. The idea that these characters that would
Yeah.
kind of before ahead of its time,
Yeah,
and kind
it's-
of been in a more
Of all
lighter
the-
vein as
yeah, Of
well.
all the Kevin Smith films, it's usually on the bottom, but I don't know. There's
Mm.
something about it. It's kind of like
Yeah, it's not as bad as everyone says.
yeah,
it is, for sure.
they call it like an aimless film, but I think that was kind of the point. It was a generation of people still trying to figure out what they.
He does say that
Oh.
he made it for essentially the wrong
Yeah,
reasons. The
exactly.
studio wanted him to do another Clerks, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what he
Yeah.
got talked into doing.
Yeah. And I think this is probably why they're trying to make a sequel to it now, because
Mm.
these days it totally fits kids hanging at the mall
Yeah.
and obsessing about their girlfriend.
Mallratters.
Yes, exactly.
So you try.
They're
I
doing
don't know
the
if that's really going to
cheerleaders
convince me
thing.
anymore. So,
Subliminal, yeah.
to anybody who can't see what's going on,
Which is everybody.
Everyone.
We're doing spirit fingers.
Yeah.
We're just doing spirit
the
fingers.
kind
I
of
should have brought pom poms.
yeah,
I have pom poms.
the female members of the kind of podcast have broken out into a kind of sit down cheerleading.
The laziest
Really,
cheerleading
really
I wish I
routine.
brought my pom poms with me. I
Why
have
do
them
you?
at home.
The only thing about Mallrats is I don't know where you'd find it because I obviously didn't bring the DVD because I was going to go with
Oh,
Punisher.
I've got the
Yeah,
DVD.
Oh, you've got
yeah.
it.
I've
'cause
got
Punisher
almost
was on
everything Kevin
Netflix,
Smith.
so I was going to just.
No, I've got-
Christian
to that,
has the
but- oh,
DVD.
cool.
yeah, I have most everything Kevin
We have,
Smith.
we have nearly all of his films.
Well, I couldn't argue against that. I could argue against everything else. Well, I didn't know your film,
Yeah.
but I couldn't
Wait-
argue against
waiting
Mallrats because I
is
own it.
Christian.
I don't know your film. It could be
Waiting
good.
is very accurate. It is like
It
they
is
actually
disturbingly
took
accurate.
anecdotes from actual restaurants. and
Yeah,
turned
kind
into
of
a
the-
film. It felt it was really real, insane.
That is what kind of interests me about it. It could be just actual real.
But yeah, if
It's like they said of Scrubs. So they had so
Yeah.
many people write into Scrubs saying, "Oh, you think that this thing that you've made up? Try this actual thing that
yeah,
happened to me."
exactly.
It was voted actually Scrubs as the most realistic portrayal on all of TV of what it is actually like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
work in a hospital. Like obviously despite the comedy, but the way that it actually
And the
yeah.
kind of
Like
breaks from
ER
reality,
was-
but yeah.
Yeah, but,
But again,
that
that's-
is apparently actually the closest portrayal of what it is like to
And
actually
one of the
work.
ER
reasons
is
was
total
because they
bullshit.
just brought in every time somebody wrote into them saying this thing actually happened to me. They tried to bring
Yeah.
those things into it. So.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap it up there, shall we? For our second or maybe third or maybe whatever episode of
Some kind
of
of
the
number of
podcast.
episode.
We'll promise we'll be slightly more organised with the episodes. We'll know what structures they're going to be on as
Don't
of
make
November.
promises you can't keep, Christian.
We don't pretend you know what you're doing. Hashtag don't pretend you know what you're
Don't
doing.
pretend you put thought into
That's
this.
it.
There we
And
go.
don't ever tell them it's going to be less than an hour. We all talk too much.
Yes. It's not less than that.
Who said it would be less than an hour? I was able to think it would be 90 minutes.
90 minutes. Yeah.
No, never
Yeah,
mind.
I
It's
heard
not
90
less
minutes
than
from
a-
Yeah,
someone.
yeah,
Be lucky if we make 90 minutes.
it's fine.
It's good.
We're learning. It's a learning experience, and it's been fun. I've been having fun. I don't know. I
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
everybody else has too.
We
That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope you guys have been having fun.
Let's hope some. Yeah.
We're having great
Whoever
fun.
may be
Really
listening out there in the internet verse, the interverse,
Be into
Interwebs.
the podcast verse.
podcast first.
Podverse.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Go to actinghour.com. We heard for your actors' headshots.
Yeah.
And to check out the
Discounted
what's the
headshots
horror thing called again?
and
I'm
Halloween
blanking on
Hall
it.
of Horror. Also, it's just as well as that, we do always have different competitions. So we have like actor of the week that changes every single week. So we usually like showcase a new person, whoever wins the show reel. Best show reel, and then every month we have trailer of the month, short film of the month, and web series of the month, which goes up on the site as well. So that changes every month, and anyone can enter. You just got to get on Twitter from 1 to 2 on a Wednesday and tweet.
Excellent work. Well, find us on Twitter at Deleted Scene Pod. Keep you posted on Twitter and on our Facebook, where you can find us, and on Instagram you can see poorly taken selfies which
What
apparently
are you
is
talking
our
about? They're
thing.
amazing.
They're
Apparently,
masterpieces.
no, they're well, okay, fine, but apparently they're our thing.
We'll get better with the podcast. We'll get better with the selfies. Watch us do a bunch.
Yeah, we're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living
Apart
and
from Mel,
learning at the
Mel's
same
done
time.
podcasts before. She should know better.
Yeah.
I don't learn, so that's how that
I
works.
can vouch for
Oh,
that.
right.
I live with her, I know.
I have had the same injury over and over and over again because I just don't learn.
if Mel would find a way to get a paper cut underwater, if it was possible.
It is possible, I've done it.
I'm not even surprised.
Oh, great stuff.
I'm Christian. Find me One Bearded Man online. Anyone else want to say goodbye?
No.
Goodbye.
I never want it to end.
Never end.
Aw.
Well, it does now.
Never-ending story.
No.
Has to be done.
Flashback.
I'm like going to be your musical quote master.
Next week, she's going to reenact All the Funny Girls.
No, I just did that today.
Well, speaking of next week, you will have a couple of episodes from Comic Con. We'll have an interview special and we'll have a other
Yeah.
live one, and
Yeah.
then we'll see you back for a regular scheduled programming come the middle of November.
Yeah.
Also, if there's anything that you, our lovely listeners, want us to discuss, tweet us at Deleted Scene Pod, or just use the hashtag Deleted Scene Pod so that we can find what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll let you know when
Yeah.
we're recording so that you can tweet us during the recording and we
Yeah,
can mention
exactly. Yeah.
it. And yeah, that's all we've got. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
And please listen again.
Can you do some fuck off?
I love the
cut
falsetto
there.
version of that.
We should do like a jingle. It was like, calm your
It
tits
said
and
fuck
fuck
off.
Calm your tits and fuck off.
Calm your tits and fuck off.
I like the kind of barbershop quartet version.
Oh my god, no, we
Yes.
should do it. We should do it.
Calm your tits.
So you go calm.
Calm.
What am I doing?
It's the higher note. The higher note.
Calm
Calm.
your
Tits. No. We'll practice this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we eventually start selling merchandise, that'll be on a t-shirt. You can enjoy that. Goodbye.
Okay, just turn this up.
Yeah, stop it.